Hi guys, Durka Gaming here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do a video on the scenery library within FSX or P3D. I'm using P3D now. I've had a lot of people asking me to do this video. I think we're getting loads of people getting confused still about how Orbx works and which layers to use, not to use, what to use when you're flying from a region to a non-region, what do you do when you're just flying within a region, what do you do when you fly just within a non-region like global base. So all those, I'm getting loads of those questions in my Twitch channel, and then one of the mods recommended and said, Durka, why don't you just do a video? So hence why I'm doing this. I'll try explain as best I can. I hope I'm not going to confuse you guys anymore, but at the same time hopefully this will sort this out now. Not that I don't mind getting asked these questions, I don't mind getting asked at all, but there does seem to be a lot of confusion with what to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I set up my scenery, what I do every time I start a new flight. Yes, some of you might put in the comments, oh, you don't have to do that all the time, you're wasting your time, etc., etc. Guys, this is how I do it. I've always done it like that. It works well for me. I know when I do it this way that I've got everything correct. Well, hope I've got everything correct. So yeah, let me just show you what I do, and as I said, hopefully after this video it will help you help you understand a lot more. I've put myself in Sydney. We at Sydney, this is the FlyTampa scenery, FlyTampa Sydney, and the reason why I've done this is because I've loaded up the Australian scenery, as I said to you on my stream, that I've been having some issues with Orbx, so I deleted my whole Orbx folder, and I'm slowly rebuilding it again, putting region and airports back on when I get time, etc., etc. So yeah, we are going to we are in Australia, so I will show you what I did to get the region up and what to choose and not to choose, etc., etc. Okay, and let's get going then. Okay, so first of all, you guys want to basically have the new Orbx Central 2. If you guys don't have that, well, I think most of you should have this if you're running Orbx, because when you update your library files, it will install this new UI or this new FTX Central panel, whatever you want to call it. So alright, so let's get going then. So as you can see, I've got Australia loaded, New Zealand, North Island, South Island, and some of these airports I haven't loaded yet, as I just said. I'm slowly loading everything up. Okay, so what you do basically is on the left hand side you can see you've got FTX Global, North America, Oceania, and then the next one you will have is Europe. I don't have Europe there because I haven't loaded I haven't loaded up Norway or England or Scotland, Wales, etc., etc. Okay, so what you want to do now, as I said, I'm going to try and explain this as best as possible. If we want to fly in Australia now, what we do is we choose Oceania, okay, and we click Apply Group. Okay. We do that now because we are flying within a region. Okay. Just say now, sorry, that is pretty straightforward. Okay. We are flying in Australia, so we choose Australia, which falls under the Oceania. If we want to fly in Northern California, which again you can see I've only loaded up Northern California, what we do is we click North America and we click apply group. Alright, so now if I had Central Rockies, Northern Rockies, Pacific Northwest, etc. Loaded, you would see them under this FTX region. Okay, so what you're doing basically is once you've clicked apply for North America, you're activating all these regions. Okay, as I said, I know they're not installed now, but just say they were. You would be activating all those. Okay. All right. Hopefully you're with me so far. Okay. Again, let's just go. I'll explain that again. So you finish flying in Northern California now, or you finish flying in Northern Rockies, and you want to fly back in Australia. So what you do is, well, what I do is I close everything down. I close P3D down. I open my Central 2 again. I click Oceania, and I want to fly in New Zealand South Island, so I click apply group. Okay, pretty straightforward. I don't think anything's too difficult about that. Okay, the next thing now, just say we want to fly from Australia to New Zealand. Okay, but I don't have New Zealand installed. Okay, I do have it, but as I said, it's not installed yet. So just say we want to fly from Sydney down to Auckland or wherever in New Zealand. What we do then is we put it to global and we put hybrid mode. Okay, and the reason we do that is because what happens is we are flying from a region, which is Australia, to a non-region. Okay, yeah, so we are flying from a region to a non-region because we haven't got New Zealand installed. And the reason why we put it in hybrid is because what happens is when we fly in Australia or we leave Australia, we want the Australian scenery to kick in, basically to show up. And then when we arrive in New Zealand, we want global to kick in. So that's why we put it in hybrid mode. Okay, so we're going from a region to a non-region. Just say I didn't have Australia installed. Okay, so I didn't have Australia, I didn't have in New Zealand installed. What we would do then, we would then activate the global, but take it out of hybrid mode. Okay, so we are flying from a non-region to a non-region. So we're flying from France to Germany because there's no regions. Orbx hasn't made scenery for those. So you want global to kick in. So it even says there, enables hybrid mode. This makes the simulator show textures from both FTX global and FTX terrain regions you have installed. Okay, so let me just quickly go through that again. If you want to fly within a region, you click apply group. You make sure. So I want to just fly Northern California. You just click that region. You want to fly from a region to a non-region. You leave it in. You put it to FTX global and you click hybrid. If you're flying from no region to no region, so you're just flying around New Zealand, you untick hybrid, so only global will show up. Okay, pretty straightforward, guys. Hopefully I haven't confused you too much. Yeah, good. Okay, so we are now, say, flying in Australia, so we have applied the group now, so we're going to have Australia. Okay, so what I do now, I minimize this and I go to my scenery folder. Okay, and you guys can download this. The link is below. This is what I use. I use Scenery Config Editor. Very straightforward. I'll quickly show you how to set it up. So if you're running FSX, what you need to do is obviously you'll have your FSX directory in there, so it'll be d/FSX or whatever you have yours. So you just click, so you just browse to the root of your flight sim directory, and then if you click FSX mode there, it automatically finds where your scenery file is. Okay, but if you're running P3D, you click user defined and you browse to your scenery file, and mine sits in program data Lockheed Martin Prepare 3D version 2. Okay, and then you have follow the new scenery convention, check scenery directories exist, use last accepted path as default. I have those three ticked. Very straightforward. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so now what I do next is what you need to do next is, in your scenery library, you want to have all your airports in the top layers. Okay, if you are running any Aerosoft, which I am, any Aerosoft scenery, you need to have the Aerosoft AVCADs sitting right at number 1. If you've got like the Aerosoft lighting, I think that sits even above that, or maybe just below AVCADs. I'm sure someone will correct me on that in the comments. Okay, but basically what you want all your airports sitting in the top. Okay, so as you can see, I've got all my FlyTampa. I don't have many of my Orbx with, I'm still loading them. There's all my UK 2000 ones, and there's some of my Orbx ones I've loaded up already. Okay, below your airport you want your library files. So if you're running FlyTampa, you need to have the FlyTampa library files. If you're running UK 2000, you then want the common library files, and then you want the Orbx library files. Okay, the Orbx library files basically give you things like static aircraft, people flow, the noise of the birds, you know, things like this, the trucks moving, and I have been told that it actually doesn't matter where the library files sit. They can sit above your airport, but you know, I just have them all below my airports. That's how I've always run it, and yeah, that's how I have it. Okay, next you then want all your Orbx regions. Okay, so as you can see, I've got Australia next, then I've got Northern California, and then obviously when I start loading up all the other regions, those will all sit below here. Okay, underneath your regions, this is if you're running it as well, you need to have open land class will be your next one. Okay, open land class, and then right below that is global base. If you are running any meshes like people's meshes, you want those below base. I'm running the free mesh. One of my followers, Aviator Moser, and you'll see the link below as well. He does some free meshes, some really good free meshes, so I'm running those. Okay, and then after that you want all your default scenery, so this is all default from when you install FSX or P3D. Okay, and then after that you want vectors. Again, if you guys are running vectors, you want vectors between your base files. Okay, so it sits just above base, and then you've got all your base files, and then you've got the last vector file there which sits at below base. Okay, I'm back here quickly. I want to show you something. So what I want, so we are flying in Australia now, so we don't need the Aerosoft AVCADs. I want Sydney, my Sydney scenery ticked, my Sydney FlyTampa scenery, so those are ticked. I want the FlyTampa library files ticked. I want the Orbx library files ticked. And now I want all my Australia scenery ticked. Yes, I might not be flying in all this scenery, you know, because this basically, all this is made up of obviously the whole of Australia, and just say I'm flying around the Sydney area. But I don't know exactly if 16, 18, 25, 26 is sort of the Sydney area. So that's why I always have, if I'm flying Australia, I just have everything ticked. Okay. You obviously want Northern California unticked because we are not flying there. You obviously want all your open land class for Europe unticked because you're not flying there. And you want base unticked as well because we are not flying there. Because remember, as I said to you, we are just flying in a region. So you only have your region ticked. Okay? Just say we are flying now from Australia to New Zealand, and we don't have the New Zealand scenery ticked. So remember, we then go to global, we click hybrid mode, and we click apply group. Alright, and then what we do now then is we keep all the Australia scenery ticked, and then we click base. Because remember, when we're coming into New Zealand, we want Orbx base to kick in. So that's why you want base ticked as well. And then obviously, depending on where you're flying, you click your meshes as well. So either if you're flying in Europe, North America, Australia, and I'm flying in Australia, so I've got my tick in Australia and Oceania. And then you don't want any of these other things ticked as well. So just untick everything where you're not flying. All you want is to tick the region you're in or the airport you're flying into, etc., etc. So just say we were flying to Hong Kong from Sydney, then we would click Hong Kong there because we were flying into Hong Kong. Okay, guys, pretty straightforward. So remember, have all your scenery, all your airport scenery at the top. Then have your library files, okay, over there. Then have all your regions. So you've got Australia, Norway, England, Pacific Northwest, Northern California. Then you have your open land class for Europe. Obviously, when open land class for North America comes, that will sit underneath here. And if you're running any meshes, you then have your meshes. Okay. Then you have all your default sceneries. Then you have your vectors above base, where the start of your bases are. And then you have one little file at the bottom of base. Okay. Good. I hope you're all with me. I hope that hasn't confused you even more. Let me know if you still want some explanation in the comments, and I will let you know. Okay, so once that's done, I close this and I say save, and I say yeah, save and quit, saved. And then what I do is I go to my vector configuration. Okay. But let me just quickly show you what my options are. Yeah. So what I do is I untick tunnel exits. Okay. Some people I know have bridges unticked as well. A lot of people saying that having tunnel exits and bridges unticked does help with performance. I get good FPS generally, so the only thing I have unticked is tunnel exits. Water features, again, what I've read and what people have told me is untick frozen surfaces. This tends to fix up a lot of, like, you see in Orbx scenery, you just see like sort of patches of water around. This tends to fix that. I still see the odd bit of water around, but I must say, since I've unticked that, I don't see as much water as before. And then the other thing I've heard, people have told me, is unticking wetlands, swamps, marshes. I'll be honest, I don't really fly around swamps and marshes, so I just have that ticked, but you guys can play around with that. Okay, so there's some of my features or some of my options within FTX global vectors. But going back to airport elevation correction, so once I've made all my adjustments in the scenery library or the scenery config tool, I then run vectors, and I run that all the time. Okay, so what it says here, this will automatically scan your scenery config and identify all add-ons that are likely to cause conflicts with FTX vector. Airport elevations affected by this then automatically be disabled. So it basically just sorts out if there's any elevation errors. It basically disables it, and then you've got proper elevation. I think if you guys remember my stream from the other night, I flew into Naples and I was having some vectors issues. Basically what I did was I did run it, but clearly something, didn't like something. I then switched off P3D, reran the vector files, or reran this vector tool, and it worked perfectly. So the other thing, if you read here, is please note that you should rerun auto configuration after installing, uninstalling, activating, or deactivating add-on scenery. Okay, so you guys, you want to be running this all the time. So when you, like I showed you earlier, when you changing from a region to a non-region to hybrid, whatever, always come back into your vector. Obviously, that's if you're running vectors, and run this auto config. Okay, so once you've done everything, so you've changed everything in Central. You've done everything in your, sorry, I've closed it down already. You've done everything in your scenery config. Okay, where you've changed everything, ticked your airports, unticked whatever. Then you come into your vector configuration too. You say run auto configurator. That will run. It will run for a little while. And then make sure you click apply. It will prompt you as well to click apply, and you click apply. Okay, and then once that's done, you then open up your, remember guys, you do this when when P3D or FSX is closed down. Yeah, I only opened it because I just don't want you to looking at a boring desktop. I'd rather just show you the awesome Comanche 250 from A2A, and some scenery from FlyTampa Sydney. So okay, so you need to have your sim not running. So once you've done all those three things, then fire up your sim, park yourself wherever airports you ticked, and then you're good to go. Okay, good. Alrighty guys, that's it. Hopefully that explained how to use Orbx and how to use the different sceneries, what regions to use, what not regions to use. If you're still getting confused, let me know please, where you're getting confused, what you're still not understanding, or if you want me to explain a little bit more on something, let me know in the comments, and I will do a part 2 of this video. And sort it out for you. I just quickly want to show you one more thing. If you guys open Central 2 and click here, the Orbx guide, this is a very good guide. What Orbx have done, explains everything. It's a, what is it, 41 page, just gives you loads of detail and basically explains how the different regions work. What basically there, it gives you pictures of these layers. You see, yeah, all the layers. It gives you the meshes, what shows you pictures and how land class works, how vectors works, etc., etc. A very good read if you guys want to have a look at that. Okay guys, that's me. Thank you very much for watching. As always, as I said, if you've got any comments, leave them below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share them with your friends. The next video I've got is an Australian video. We're going to fly from a really cool little airport out in the outback. I'm not going to say too much. And we are going to fly down to Sydney in the NGX, or maybe the Airbus. I'm not sure. But have a look out for that. That's going to be after this video. That will be in a day or two after this video. And that's it. Guys, thank you very much as always. Thank you for the support. And I will see you next time. Cheers, cheers, bye.